Dear Heartlines Love Story Radio, it's late at night here in Portland, Oregon. The rain has been falling all evening, and my window has started to swell from the damp air. When I try to push it open, it sticks. So I've given up and just watched the street below. The streetlights shine on the wet road, making the puddles look like little mirrors. My name is Lena Bennett. I'm 27 years old, born and raised here in Portland. I have hazel eyes that my mom says change color when my mood changes, and chestnut brown hair that I often wear in a loose braid. I'm not very tall, but running has kept me in good shape and given me a confident walk, even when I don't feel brave inside. I grew up with my mom Elaine after my dad passed away when I was young. She's a seamstress and can fix almost anything with a needle and thread. From her, I learned that love is a lot like sewing, careful, patient, and something you keep working on even when it's difficult. In the mornings, I work as a barista at a little coffee shop near the Willamette River. At night, I draw faces, coffee cups, and especially bridges. Bridges have always fascinated me. They carry so much weight, yet they still stand strong. The first time I saw him was on a freezing Thursday morning. His name is Noah Whitaker. He was 28 back then, living on the east side of Portland, though he would later move to Seattle for work. He has storm gray eyes that seem to notice everything, dark sandy hair that never stays in place, and broad shoulders like someone used to real, hands-on work. He grew up the middle child in a big, close family. His dad is a carpenter, his mom a school librarian. Now he works as a civil engineer, building and repairing bridges. And on weekends, he takes photos of old ones that still stand. That first morning, he ordered a drip coffee black with room for cream. I don't know why I did it, but I drew a tiny bridge on the lid of his cup. He didn't notice. He just thanked me with a smile that seemed to warm the air between us and left. The next day, he came back, and the day after that. Some people walk into your life with a big splash. Noah arrived more quietly, like gentle rain, and before I knew it, I was already standing in it. I noticed the little things about him first. How he paused at the door before coming inside, almost like he was checking the mood of the room. How he rolled up one sleeve when he was thinking. I wanted to tell him, I know your quiet moods, but instead, I steamed milk and kept the words to myself. If I had known how little time we'd have, maybe I would have spoken sooner. But I kept telling myself there would be a better moment, the right moment. I thought I could wait for it. I didn't realize how quickly the chance could slip away. There's a bench by the river where you can see everything. The bridge stretches above like a net of steel, and the water below moves slowly, carrying the light with it. One evening in April, I found myself sitting there with Noah. He had his camera in hand. I had something to say, but the words felt heavy in my mouth. Lena, he started, then stopped. I turned to look at him, but he just smiled a little, like he had changed his mind, and raised his camera to take a picture. The moment passed. We walked back along the river path. Our sleeves brushed once, and it felt like a small spark under my skin. I wanted to tell him about the bridge I drew on his cup the day we met. I wanted to tell him I felt something for him, but instead, I asked about his work. He spoke about a stormwater project he was helping design, his voice calm and steady, like he was telling me a story. I just listened, matching my steps to his. When I got home, my mom was at the kitchen table, her sewing machine humming softly. Elaine Bennett is 54, with dark hair now touched with silver, warm eyes, and hands that can sew all day without tiring. She's been a widow most of my life, and she raised me with a mix of practicality and quiet affection. She doesn't push for answers. She waits until you're ready to speak. I noticed my phone light up. It was a photo from Noah. the bridge in silhouette against the evening sky. "Wish you could see this," the text read. I typed "I am," then erased it. Then I typed "me too," and erased that too. I let the message box stay empty. "Long day?" my mom asked softly. I nodded. He sent me a photo of the bridge at sunset. She smiled a little. Sometimes a picture says more than words. That night I started a letter to him. I wrote the words, "I think I'm in love with you." I looked at them for a long time, my pulse racing. Then I folded the paper until it was small and tucked it into the drawer where all my almost letters went. The next morning, he came into the cafe again. We smiled at each other in that way you do when something's growing between you. But neither of you says it yet. He asked about my drawings. I asked about his mom's book sale at the library. His hand brushed the tip jar as he reached for change, and my breath caught. If love has a sound in the beginning, it's not loud. It's small, the clink of a spoon, the click of a camera, the quiet pause before a door opens. And I thought I had time to hear all of it. The morning he told me felt like any other. The sky was the soft gray it often is in Portland, the kind that makes the whole street feel slow. I was behind the counter at the cafe, wiping down the milk steamer, when I saw him come through the door. His coat was damp from the mist, and his cheeks were pink from the cold. But his smile was different that day, full, a little brighter, like he was holding on to something good. He ordered his usual, but he lingered by the counter instead of heading to his seat. "I got a job offer," he said, his voice a mix of excitement and disbelief. "They want me to start next week. Big project, good pay, but it's only for a year. Seattle." Just hearing it felt like the air changed. I told myself it was close enough we could still see each other. Call, send pictures, but in my heart, I knew that even a few hours apart could feel like a whole different world. Maybe he saw something in my eyes because he added quickly, "I'll be back before you know it, it's not forever." I nodded, forcing my smile to match his. "That's great, Noah," I said, and I meant it. But my chest felt heavy in a way I couldn't explain. That evening, we decided to celebrate. We went to a small diner a few blocks from the river, the one with the squeaky red booths and the smell of coffee that never really fades. We shared a slice of pie with the crust just a little burnt, the filling still warm enough to steam. Noah picked up his camera and took a photo of me mid-laugh, a piece of hair falling across my cheek. "I'm framing this," he said, his eyes soft. I laughed and teased, "Frame the pie too," and we both smiled in that easy way you do when everything still feels light. Later, back at my apartment, I sat at my desk with a blank sheet of paper. I started writing, "Noah, I love you. I think I've loved you since the day I drew that little bridge on your coffee cup." The words felt both freeing and frightening at the same time. I folded the letter, then opened it again. Folded it tighter, opened it once more. My hands wouldn't stop moving, like they were trying to stall my heart. In the end, I slid the letter into my desk drawer with the others I'd never sent. I told myself there would be a better time, a moment when saying it would feel easy. But the truth was, I was scared of what would change if he knew. A few days later, I came home to the familiar hum of my mom's sewing machine. She was at her work table, the lamp casting a warm light over the blue dress she was mending. Her hands moved steadily, the fabric slipping smoothly under the needle. Without looking up, she said, "Love is always a risk, Lena, but silence is a risk too." I stood there for a moment, just watching her. My mom has always been the strongest person I know. When I needed new track shoes in high school, she skipped buying herself a coat that winter. When I wanted paints and sketchbooks, she worked longer hours without a complaint. She's lived most of her life giving to others without expecting anything back. And now, in her quiet way, She was reminding me that holding back my feelings wasn't protecting me. It was only keeping them from being heard. I told myself I would tell Noah before he left for Seattle. I practiced the words in front of the mirror, saying them softly like they were secrets I had to coax out. I even imagined how it might go, me standing on the sidewalk, handing him his coffee, smiling as I told him the truth. But when the day came, his car was already packed. Boxes were stacked neatly in the back seat. His travel mug sat in the cup holder. The moment felt like it had already been decided. I handed him his coffee, my fingers brushing his for just a second. He smiled, the kind of smile that reaches the eyes. He pulled me into a hug, tight, warm, like he didn't want to let go. When he stepped back, he looked at me and asked, "See you soon?" I wanted to say, "I love you. Please don't go without knowing that." But instead, I nodded and said, "Soon." I stood on the sidewalk, holding the cafe door open long after his car had turned the corner. The street felt quiet, like it was waiting for something that never came. Seattle may only be 3 hours away on a map, but when someone you're used to seeing almost every day suddenly isn't there, it feels like they've moved to another world. At first, Noah and I still talked often. He'd send me pictures from his work site, tall steel beams against the skyline, the slow progress of a bridge taking shape. Sometimes it was something simple, like his morning coffee in a paper cup with the city streets blurred behind it, or the view from his apartment window when the rain rolled in. I'd reply with little pieces of my own day latte art I'd made at the cafe, sketches of bridges in my notebook, or the way the river looked at sunset from my usual bench. One night, his message came with a picture that made me pause. It was of a bridge under construction, the steel shining under the floodlights. Against the black night sky, it looked like a constellation had dropped to Earth. Underneath the photo, he'd written, "Wish you could see this." I stared at those 5 words for a long time. I typed "me too," then erased it. I typed it again, erased it again. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. My heart caught somewhere between wanting to close the distance and being too afraid to take the first step. In the end, I didn't send anything. It wasn't just the miles between us anymore. It was the quiet I was building myself, every message I didn't send, every truth I swallowed. I started running again, mostly to clear my head. I'd take the path along the river, past the same bench where we'd once sat together. As my shoes hit the pavement, I'd try to say the words out loud. "I love you." Sometimes I whispered them. Sometimes I spoke them firmly, pretending he was standing in front of me. But no matter how I said it, the moment never felt right. At night, I'd scroll through old photos, the one of him holding his camera near the river, the blurry one he took of me laughing at the diner with pie between us. They felt like little treasures, moments I could hold in my hand, proof that what we had was real. I didn't want to lose that. Maybe that's why I kept waiting for the perfect time. I thought I'd know it when it came. I didn't realize that perfect moments almost never show up on their own, you have to make them. And while I was waiting, time was slipping quietly past me. It started small, so small that I didn't think much of it. A bruise on my leg that stayed long after it should have faded. A tiredness that clung to me, even after a full night's sleep. At first, I blamed it on long shifts at the cafe, on skipping breakfast too often, or maybe just needing a weekend to rest. But the tiredness didn't go away. It grew heavier, settling in my bones. Some days, climbing the stairs to my apartment felt like carrying a bag of bricks. I finally made an appointment with my doctor, Dr. Claire Morgan. There's a quiet kindness in her that makes you feel like she's truly listening. After listening to my symptoms, she said gently, "We should run some more tests." Then, with a small, reassuring smile, she added, No matter what we find, we'll face it together. A few days later, I was back in her office. She closed the door behind her, sat down across from me, and began explaining the results. I won't write the exact medical term here. It's not what I want this story to be about, but it was serious. Serious enough that my calendar would soon be filled with treatments, hospital visits, and follow-ups instead of coffee dates and sketching trips. Walking out of the clinic, I noticed how strange it felt that the world looked exactly the same when mine had just been turned upside down. The sky was overcast, people hurried by under umbrellas. A car splashed through a puddle. Somewhere, a busker was playing guitar. Life didn't slow down for me, not even for a second. When I got home, my mom was at the kitchen table, sewing kit open, a half-mended jacket in her lap. She looked up the moment I walked in. She didn't ask a single question. She just reached out, took my hand in hers, and gave it a gentle squeeze. Her thumb moved back and forth over my skin, the way she used to when I was a child and had woken from a bad dream. I didn't tell Noah. Not yet. I told myself I needed to wait until I understood more, or until the right moment came. But deep down, I was afraid he'd feel trapped, or that he'd see me differently. I wanted him to remember me as I was, the girl at the cafe with the braid over her shoulder, smiling at him across the counter. So for now, it stayed between me and my mom. But at night, when the house was quiet, I could feel the words I hadn't said pressing at my chest. They felt like a knock on a door I was too scared to open. It was a Tuesday afternoon, the kind of day where the air smelled faintly of oranges, because my mom was zesting one for a cake she never actually finished. I was sitting at my desk, my sketchbook pushed to the side, and for some reason that day felt different. I took out a sheet of pale blue stationery, the kind I'd been saving for something important. My hands trembled a little as I picked up my pen. I sat there for a while, staring at the blank space, until finally I began to write. Noah, if you're reading this, it means I finally found the courage I kept saying I would. I love you. I think I've loved you since the day you didn't notice the bridge I drew on your coffee cup. I love the way your eyes always seem to be paying attention to things other people miss. I love how you measure twice before you build something, not just with bridges, but with people too. There's something else you need to know. I'm sick. The kind of sick that comes with calendars and treatments and more hospital rooms than anyone should ever have to see. I'm not telling you because I want you to feel sorry for me. I don't want you to change your life for me. I just want you to know the truth. Because if there's one thing I regret, it's all the times I stayed quiet when I should have spoken. You have been my favorite place to stand. When I finished, I sat there with the pen in my hand for a long time, staring at the words. My eyes blurred until the lines on the page started to swim. I folded the paper carefully, sliding a pressed ginkgo leaf between the pages, something small, something living once. Then I sealed the envelope. This time, I didn't open it again. A few days later, I walked down to the river bench. It was late afternoon, the kind of cloudy day where the light feels soft, like it's wrapping the city in a blanket. I had the letter in my coat pocket, the paper warm from being so close to me. I dialed his number. The ringtone felt slow, too slow, like each note was taking its time. Then his voicemail picked up. "Hey, it's me," I said quietly. "I just wanted to hear your voice." I ended the call before I could lose my nerve and tell him everything right there. My hand stayed on the phone for a while, as if holding it might keep me connected to him a little longer. 2 days later, Noah sent me a photo of rain falling on a steel beam at his worksite. "Looks like Portland's weather followed me here," he wrote. I smiled at the screen and typed back, "So did I." But once again, I didn't send it. I saved it in my drafts, like a bird I couldn't bring myself to set free. That night, I lay in bed listening to the rain on the window. The letter was still in my coat pocket, and I wondered if maybe tomorrow I'd walk to the post office. But tomorrow kept feeling like a word that was too far away. It was a windy Saturday morning when I heard a knock at my apartment door. The sound startled me. Most weekends were quiet. My mom was out running errands, so I wasn't expecting anyone. I adjusted the scarf I had wrapped around my head. My hair had been thinning for weeks now, and every time I caught my reflection, it still took me a moment to recognize myself. The scarf felt like armor on some days, a reminder on others. When I opened the door, there he was, Noah. His hair was messy from the wind, his jacket collar turned up against the chill. There was a softness in his expression, but also something heavier, like he'd been carrying a question for a while. The worksite shut down for the weekend, he said, rubbing his hands together. Too windy for the cranes. I thought I'd come see you. He glanced around the apartment, taking it all in the row of pill bottles lined neatly on the counter, the stack of hospital papers on the table, my mom's sewing basket resting by the armchair. His gaze finally landed on me, and he didn't look away. You should have told me, he said quietly. My voice was low, but I kept my eyes on his. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The wind rattled the window panes, and somewhere outside, he walked into the kitchen, moving with a familiarity that made my chest ache. He filled the kettle, set it on the stove, and opened the cupboard to take out my favorite mug without asking. When he brought me the tea, he tucked the blanket higher around my shoulders. I'm here, he said. Just that. And I realized then that sometimes love doesn't arrive with grand gestures or perfect timing. Sometimes it's just someone showing up, no matter what they might find when they do. Summer didn't rush in that year, it crept in gently, like it knew I needed time. The mornings were warm and slow, the afternoons stretched long and golden, but I measured my days differently now, in good days and hard ones. On the good days, the air felt light enough for me to breathe deeply. I'd sit by the window with my sketchbook, drawing whatever caught my eye, the bend of the street below, a bird hopping along the railing, the shifting light as clouds passed overhead. Sometimes Noah visited if his work schedule allowed. We didn't need to fill the air with conversation. Sometimes we'd eat pie from the diner straight out of the box, the crust crumbling onto napkins between us. Other times, we'd just sit quietly, the hum of the city drifting in from the open window. On the hard days, the weight in my body made everything slow. The hours blurred, the air in the room heavy and still. My mom would read to me from paperback novels she'd picked up from the library, her voice steady and soft. The old box fan hummed in the corner, its rhythmic whir blending with her words until they felt like the same kind of comfort. One afternoon, I pulled a fresh sheet of paper toward me and began to write a second letter to Noah. This one was shorter, gentler. If I run out of time, please don't carry mine. Live yours fully. Build the bridges you've always dreamed of. Frame the photo from the diner. Be happy in a way I'd recognize, even from far away. When I was done, I took the first letter, the one where I told him I loved him, and placed it together with this new one inside a pale blue envelope. I tucked the pressed ginkgo leaf between them. I handed the envelope to my mom. If something happens to me, mail this, I said. She looked at me for a long moment, her eyes soft but firm. Are you sure? Yes, I said. She nodded slowly, then smiled faintly. You get that stubbornness from me, she murmured, pressing a kiss to the top of my head. I held onto that moment, the sound of her voice, the weight of her hand on my shoulder, because I knew it would matter to me, no matter what came next. Autumn came early that year, though maybe it only felt that way because I had been watching the seasons more closely. The mornings had a crisp bite to them, and the rain returned with a steady rhythm that felt both comforting and sad. I woke one morning to the sound of it tapping against the window by my bed, the same window that always swelled shut when it was wet. I lay there listening, the soft drops against the glass mixing with the faint hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen. It was quiet. By then, my body had slowed. Walking from my bedroom to the kitchen felt like a small journey. I would move carefully, resting my hand on the wall as I went. My breath came shorter than it used to, and sometimes, even sitting upright for too long made my chest ache. My mom stayed close. She had taken to sitting in the chair by my bed, her hands wrapped around mine or resting lightly on my arm. Sometimes she'd hum little melodies she didn't even realize she was making. Other times she'd read aloud, her voice gentle, patient, never hurrying the words. There is a kind of love that doesn't need to be spoken. That's what hers felt like. Steady, always there. Like the rain on the window, it didn't demand my attention, but I knew it was there, holding the space with me. There were moments when I thought about calling Noah. I'd pick up my phone, my thumb hovering over his name, and imagine him answering. I'd hear his voice in my mind, warm and familiar, but each time, I put the phone back down. I didn't want our last real conversation to be about my leaving. One evening, I asked my mom to play me a voicemail Noah had left weeks before. His voice came through, steady and clear. "Sorry I missed you. Tell me everything when I call back." I closed my eyes and whispered everything I hadn't told him about the letters, about the ginkgo leaf, about the way I'd been missing him even when he was near. Maybe somehow those words would reach him, carried by the rain or by the wind that pressed gently at the window all night. If you're still with me, dear Heartlines, then you already know how this story ends. The envelope had been waiting on my dresser for weeks, the pale blue paper holding both letters and the ginkgo leaf between them. My mom mailed it on a Tuesday morning. She told me later that she added a second stamp, because love is heavy. By the time Noah opened my letter, summer had long passed. The trees were beginning to change, leaves falling in slow spirals to the ground. The air had that early autumn chill that makes you pull your sleeves over your hands. My mom told me he arrived at the apartment one afternoon with a small bouquet of flowers, bright ones, though he didn't know I was allergic to them. She didn't mention it. She knew it was the thought that mattered. She invited him in without hesitation. They sat together at the kitchen table, the same table where she'd fixed my school uniforms, where we'd shared slices of pie, where I'd written both letters. She told me they didn't say much. Grief doesn't ask for many words. At some point, she told him softly, she loved you. Noah nodded. My mom noticed the way his hands stayed still on the table, almost as if moving them might make the moment break apart. I like to imagine him later, sitting alone on the bench by the river. Maybe the air was cool, and the sky was a soft shade of gray. He would be holding the letter, reading and rereading it, the paper soft from his hands. I imagine the ginkgo leaf lying carefully beside him, fragile but still whole. Maybe he thought of the pie at the diner, the photo he took of me laughing, the tiny bridge I drew on his coffee cup the first day we met. Maybe he saw my words not as an ending but as a gentle nudge toward living fully. I hope he kept building bridges. I hope he framed that photo. And I hope he found love again, not the same as ours, but something warm, something real. Because love isn't meant to be locked away or saved for later. It's meant to be given while it's still warm in your hands. This was my love letter, read only after I was gone. And if it finds him, I hope it lights his path, not to bring him back to me, but to guide him forward. To Lena, and to anyone listening who hears their own heart in her words, this is what I want to say. First, don't wait for the perfect moment to say what matters. It's natural to think there will always be another day, another chance, a better time to speak your truth. But life doesn't work that way. The perfect time rarely announces itself. It's often the moment you have right now. If something is in your heart, let it out while you can. You may not get the chance you're waiting for. Second, love doesn't have to be loud to be real. Sometimes it's not grand gestures or dramatic declarations, it's the small, steady things. A visit on a windy day, a cup of tea made just how you like it, a hand adjusting your blanket without a word. If you have someone in your life who shows up for you in quiet ways, value them. Tell them you notice. Third, if you're carrying something difficult, an illness, a burden, or a truth you're afraid to share, remember that the people who truly love you will want to stand beside you, even when it's hard. We often think we're protecting others by keeping our struggles to ourselves, but what we're really doing is denying them the chance to love us through it. To those left behind, like Noah, I'd say this: grief is heavy, but it's not meant to chain you in place. You're allowed to keep living, laughing, and even loving again. It doesn't mean you've forgotten the one you lost. It means you're carrying them forward in the way you live. And finally, to everyone listening, give your love while it's still warm in your hands. Don't wait. Say the words. Share the feeling. Build the bridge before the tide rises, because you never know when your letter might be read too late. If you were in Lena Bennett's place, would you have told Noah Whitaker sooner, or waited as she did? Have you ever kept something in your heart for too long? What happened when you finally shared it or when you didn't? If you were Noah, how would you carry her memory forward? Would you frame the photo? Visit the places you shared? Or find a way to love again? How did this letter make you feel? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your words might be the ones someone else needs to hear tonight.